Hello everyone, happy Monday. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. We are actually moving on now to unit number 5, geometry. So today we're going to talk about polygons and parallelograms. A polygon is a closed plane figure, so it's two-dimensional, so it's flat, with at least 3 straight sides. So some examples that I have of polygons, I have the first one right here. It's a parallelogram. Here I have a rectangle. 3 is also a parallelogram. 4 can be a diamond or a square. 5 is a triangle, and 6 is a trapezoid. So the next couple of days, we're going to talk about how to find the area of these polygons. I know previously in 5th grade, you talked about triangles and squares and rectangles. We're going to add parallelograms and trapezoids to the mix. So in 6th grade, for PSSAs, you are given this PSSA formula sheet. You're not required to memorize these formulas, but you will need to know how to use all of these for when you take the PSSAs. And when you get to older grades in 7th and 8th grade geometry as well, you'll just keep adding to them. We're going to try and to talk about all of these formulas before the end of the year. So hopefully we get to all of them. Today we are going to focus on rectangle. And rectangle, you can see that its area is length times width, or we can also say area is base times height. It means the same thing, it's just two different languages that I will be using. We're also going to talk about a square. And also today we're going to talk about a parallelogram. Area equals base times height. It's kind of similar to area is length times width, and we will talk about that today. So the formula we're going to use is area equals base times height. So we're going to multiply where A represents area and B is the base and H is the height. So when we talk about base and height, we're going to talk about a line that runs perpendicular, and that's how we're going to figure out which is the base and which is the height. Perpendicular means two lines that form at a 90-degree angle and looks like this right here, an upside down T. So our parallelogram has the same formula as a rectangle because it's made of the same parts, so it must have the same area. So if you took a peek at your notes for today, the first 2 slides of your notes are going to be also in your worksheet, and I expect you to fill these out as well. So we're going to fill them out together. You can fill it out after the video as well. So here is our perpendicular line that we were talking about. It meets with this little right angle triangle. For our base is something that holds something up. So we're going to say the base is the bottom, the flat line, and the height is how high something is. For a regular rectangle, we would use length times width, but we're going to stick with base times height. So here, you can also make a right angle. It doesn't always have to make a T. So they meet. So our base times our height. Next one we have is a square. We're used to length times width. So here's our base on the bottom and our height. And here's another parallelogram. Here is our perpendicular line right here. It meets with the little square that representing 90 degrees angle. So then this is our height and this is our base. All right, so you can see that we have a whole bunch of numbers here. In order to figure out what numbers we're going to use, because we only need 2 numbers, because base times height is what's going to give us our area. So we're not going to use all the numbers because it's not asking for the perimeter or anything like that. So the formula that we're going to use is A equals B times H. So now we're going to substitute the known values. So in order to figure out B and H, here is my perpendicular line with the 90-degree angle. So this must be my height, and this is my base. So area equals base 6. I'm going to plug 6 in for base and 5 in for H. You can use parentheses, you can use the little dot as multiplication, your choice. So then I'm going to simplify and label. So A equals 6 times 5 is 30. And I'm going to use the same units as centimeters, and I'm going to use a little square. It means I'm multiplying 2 units by each other, which is going to make them squared. All right, so our next one, once again, there's 3 lines, which you'll see in your notes as well. I expect you to write out the formula and then to fill in the formula and then write your answer. Please show all your work. So this one has decimals. We're going to do it the exact same way. So if there were ever fractions, you would do the fractions the same way. You know how to multiply fractions, you know how to multiply decimals. So the formula I'm going to use is area equals base times height. So area equals the base. I'm going to find the base and the height. Okay, so I have my base is 4. Okay, and there's nothing over here that's for my height. So what I know about polygons is, and rectangles, is that one side is 5.5. So that means the other side across from it is also 5.5. We can fill that in. So my base is 4 times 5.5. So I can do my math up here. 5.5 times 4. Decimals, one number behind the decimal, one number behind the decimal. So it is 22. My area equals 22. Oops. 22 centimeters squared. I don't need to add the decimal to 0. It's kind of just like a placeholder. You don't need it. All right, number 2, find the area of the parallelogram. Here, once again, there's a whole bunch of numbers. So we're going to use the formula A equals base times height. In order to find my base and my height, this one kind of is different on the side. So here is my perpendicular line that meets with the 90-degree angle. So if I would flip and rotate my image, I would see that the 7 is on the bottom, so it's my base, and then my height would be 2. So I'm going to plug in 7 for my base, 2 for my height. Area equals 14 centimeters squared. All right, here's a word problem. This one's a little tricky. It says, Cindy is making a display for a project. She plans on placing 100 stickers that are 3 inches by 3 inches squared on a poster board. The poster board she is using has a length of 4 feet and a width of 2 feet. Does she have enough room for all of her stickers? So we're talking about filling something in. So we're talking about area. Okay, area was base times height. We know we're talking about inches and we're talking about feet. So we need to eventually convert into one or the other. So first of all, let's see if she has enough for her project with 100 stickers 3 by 3 inches. So we're going to take 3 by 3, because we know to multiply an area by each other to get its area. So 3 times 3 is 9. So 9 inches squared is for each individual sticker, and she's going to have 100 of those stickers. So we need to multiply it by each other. So 100 times 9 is 900 inches squared. No, sorry, 900 inches squared. So now her poster board she is using is 4 feet as a width and 2 feet as 4 feet as its length and 2 feet as its width. So in order to change feet into inches, we need to know how many inches are in 1 foot. We know there's 12 inches in 1 foot, so we're going to times 12 by 4. That gives us 48. And we know that there's 12 inches, so in 2 feet, there are going to be 24. All right, so now we need to find out how the area of our poster board. So we're going to take 48 times 24, and that gives us 1,152. Yes, you are allowed to use a calculator if you have one. So now, using her stamps, does she have enough space to fit all of her stamps on her poster board, which her poster board is 1,152 inches squared? Yes, she does. And number 6. The area of a basketball court in the NBA is 5,280 square feet. The court is 96 feet long. What is the width of the basketball court? So once we know that they're talking about the same units, we don't have to do any conversions. So let's write what we have. So we have 5,280 square feet is the area. So we're going to write A equals 5,280. What else information we know? We know that the length is 96. So L equals 96. And the width is question mark. If you wanted to change this to height and base, that is okay. They're interchangeable. So we have our area equals length times width, or area equals base times height. Either or we can use. So we know our area is 5,280. So next thing we're going to do is we don't know what W is. So we just talked about how to solve for W. So we are talking about right here is multiplication. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So we want to get a W alone. So we're going to divide both sides by 96. This is going to cross out, leaving us with just W, because 96 over 96 is 1. And you can use a calculator to do your math. So 5,280 divided by 96 gives us 55. So our width is 55. All right, hopefully everybody has a good rest of their day. If you have any more questions, please message me and I will get back to you. Also, please come to office hours every day from 1 to 2 where you can ask questions. It doesn't have to be the lesson that we're learning that day. It could be any previous work that you have missed. Have a good day. Bye.